All right, boys and girls, I am so excited because today we will get to complete our insect scavenger hunt. With your parents' permission, we are going to search for insects so we can observe their structures and functions. We will collect and observe insects today for about 15 minutes. It's going to be outside. We want you to get away from the computer and enjoy this fabulous weather. Please make sure you have a container and a spoon. If you didn't gather one yesterday, make sure you get one for today's activity. The purpose of our insect scavenger hunt is to answer this focus question. What are the characteristics of the living things near your home? Please skip a page in your science notebook and title it Insect Scavenger Hunt. We'll come back to our designing an isopod environment activity in our science notebook tomorrow. So go to the last page, skip one page, and that's where I want you to make your science notebook look like mine. So since my last page was page 9, I will skip page 10 and go to page 11. Please pause the video, make your science notebook look like mine. All right, as always, don't forget to add your new entry to your table of content. Make sure you skip a page from investigation 1.2. Again, I started investigation 1.2 on page 9, so I will skip page 10 and start my insect scavenger hunt on page number 11. Go ahead and pause the video, make your science notebook, table of contents, have your new journal activity. So, insect scavenger hunt. Before we get started, I want to tell you a little bit more about it, show you some pictures and show you some videos from my insect scavenger hunt. You will search for insects, follow along. You will search for insects and other small organisms for 15 minutes. See if you can find ants, isopods, worms, or other harmless animals to observe. So let's take a look and see what I saw. All right. Once you're outdoors, you can look underneath leaves, rocks, and other things that have been lying around for a long time. Sometimes if a garbage can or flower pot has been in the same place for a while, you can find insects there. So I saw under the leaves in the last video, and I was able to find some other insects and small organisms underneath this rock. All right, just like you saw in the last video, when you're ready to collect your insect, use the spoon to transfer the organism to your container. If you found the insect in dirt, under a leaf, or in wood, make sure to put some of it in your container. I want you to find 1 to 2 insects, at least 1 to 2 insects, but if you find more, hey, that's perfectly fine too. So as you can see, I found this worm in some dirt, so I made sure to include some dirt. And as you can see, I have one more insect right here, and it doesn't look like you can see it, but I also have an isopod. Oh, here it is. It's kind of hard to see, but there's the isopod as well. All right, I'm about to show you a video that you may or may not like, depending if you like spiders. But make sure that you are safe whenever you're looking for your insects. Here's our safety rule. If you don't know what it is, or if it looks unsafe, do not, I repeat, do not pick it up. So whenever I was doing my insect scavenger hunt, I saw this guy. All right, hopefully you were able to see the spider. There was no way that I was bringing that back home to my terrarium. There was no way. So here's what I found. Sweetness. So after you find your insects, we're going to be drawing our organisms and making observations in our science notebook. So follow along as I read these instructions. In your science notebook, draw your organisms and write down your observation. Use your sentence starters to help you. So if you don't already have your science notebook, make sure that you have it for today's lesson. Let me show you some of the sentence starters. So in today's instructions, there will be a document or a sheet that has these sentence starters. So don't worry about coming back to the video. There will be a sheet in today's science lesson that will have all of this to help you whenever you draw and put a sentence about your insect that you find. So here are some things that you can be thinking about while you are looking for your insects. So my sentence starter. This organism lives in, well, the worm lived in the dirt. The spider lived in the web. Another sentence that you can use. The structures of this insect are, well, we learned about some of our isopod structures, so you can talk about that. I think this insect needs blank to survive. What do they need? Do they need moisture? Do they need sunlight? What environmental factors do they need? I wonder if this insect, what's a question that you have about the insect? I selected this insect because maybe you like spiders. Maybe you were brave enough to get one, but Mr. Torbein was not. And here's another sentence starter. I think this insect eats blank. Now, these are just to help you. If you have another sentence that you want to include in your science notebook, feel free to do that too. We're making our observations. So this is what, after my science scavenger hunt, what my science notebook looks like. Make sure that I have my focus question, abbreviated FQ. What are the characteristics of the living things near your home? I have my isopod drawing, since it was pretty small. I have my sentence that I used my sentence starter and made my observations with, my worm drawing, and my spider drawing. Remember, you need at least one or two. You don't have to have three. This is just extra. But if you found as many insects as you found, feel free to add that to your science journal. And once you're done adding your drawings and your observations to your science notebook, let's make sure that we clean up. Follow along as I read these cleanup instructions. When you are finished with your science notebook, you can add your new insects to your terrarium or return them to where you found them. So I saw a lot of really awesome terrariums. If you found it and think that the insects will interact well with one another, feel free to add that to your terrarium. If you don't have your terrarium anymore, it's okay to put the insects back where you found them, okay? So that's why we had you put them in that container. That way you can safely return them back to their environment, because I don't think you want them crawling in your home. So here's me adding mine to my terrarium, my plastic container. It's just being gently right there. You don't see it, but I also used a spoon to help give them a little help, make it easier to transfer them. And then here we have some of our mealworms that are in my terrarium. And then over here, you can see my new organisms that we added. So, all right, boys and girls, I hope you have fun on your insect scavenger hunt. And please, please remember, be safe. Remember our safety rule. If you don't know what something is or think that it's going to be dangerous, please do not try and pick it up. All right, boys and girls,